2024, existing home sales will top by year end on a trailing 12-month basis.
There's deals being happening to try to recalculate the debt so that people survive, right?
Exactly.
now.
There's going to be a lot of parts of Birmingham that are going to thrive.
Hey, y'all, and welcome. Thank you for tuning in to the Cash Flow Bros. My name is Rob.
My name's Todd.
My name is Jordan.
And you just heard Rob's radio voice.
That was it.
He like
93.3 the
you
Panda.
start.
I've been
it's
working
like-
on it.
You're like, are we ready? Are we ready? And then you're like, radio voice. It's got a timbre to
It
it.
I've been
Yeah.
working on it. Finally, after 4 months of doing this,
I just
got my
wish you
radio
would talk
voice
to
down.
me all the time like that.
Yeah, for real.
So we started. You were like, I want to make some predictions for 2024,
Yeah.
and I was like, that's a bold move, Rob.
it is. I
like
actually
it.
hate making predictions, and I don't like seeing other people do it because they're never held accountable. You see talking heads on TV
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
that's
true.
all the time, and they
Look at
say whatever
Kramer.
they want. They may not have any money on it. They may not have any. No one's ever going to fact check them later. Like,
But there's been a few times where you make a prediction and you will follow it up and say I was wrong.
yeah,
Or I was right. Like with the Birmingham market update,
Right.
oftentimes you would make some thoughts and then 2 or 3 months later, you remembered what you said and
Yeah.
you would hold yourself accountable. So
well, I actually, if you look back at my YouTube, there's a video I made at the beginning of 2023 where I made a couple predictions at the beginning of 2023.
okay.
So we're also going to see how those played out.
Oh, you
And
kept
just
up with
keeping
those.
yourself
That's
accountable.
Yeah.
good.
I love
Good for
it.
you. I would totally just forget about it. So that's good for you.
Once I put it out there,
It's the beauty of YouTube.
Yeah.
You're-
Yeah.
It's
Just go back.
archived forever.
you can look back and fact check me.
Right.
And I mean, I think if you're trying to make good decisions, then you have to know whether you made a good one or a bad one and
Yeah.
True. Very
adjust
true.
going
Very, very
forward.
true.
So predictions from 2023, let's see how they played
Let's hear
out.
it.
I'm excited.
First one, Birmingham real estate prices will not go down year over year. At the beginning of the year, there was a lot of skeptical.
Yeah.
People were very skeptical.
Yes.
We had already started ripping rates higher and higher and higher. And there were a lot of people that were worried about what was going to happen to home prices, waiting for a collapse,
They did not go down.
They did not
waiting
go
for that
down.
buying
They
opportunity.
came very close. Very,
We
very
had
close
some-
one time. Year over year,
yeah.
no, though.
We had some small appreciation months, but I don't think we were ever negative.
We did actually.
actually, we had
so I'll say,
one.
I think it was February or March. There was
Okay.
the average or the median.
But it was
dipped
only like
slightly
negative one, right?
But for the year, I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah,
we just
you're up year over year for sure.
we just heard, for the December stats are in, and we were well up,
Yeah.
7%.
7% up year over year for
Yeah.
Birmingham home prices.
I think that's great, especially in December.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So
I remember your second 2023 prediction
what was it?
was that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce
Boy.
were going to date.
Boy, I need
Nailed
you,
that
I-
one.
Yeah, you nailed it. I need you to pick me some lottery numbers, sir.
Bro, I was
know.
dying. Like on Instagram, there were so many of the opposite couples. One couple knew, the woman typically
Yeah.
knew everything about Taylor Swift and
Oh, yeah.
thought Travis was like a nobody.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And the flip side was true. They were like, who is Taylor Swift? Travis is literally like a 2-time
Yeah.
Super Bowl MVP.
Oh, my wife was like,
Yeah.
"Can you believe he's using her for publicity?" And I was like, "He's using her for publicity. He's like a Super Bowl winner. What are you
Yeah.
talking about?" What else, man?
Yeah, I was dying about that. Anyway, so
Yeah. I don't think anyone saw that coming.
Did you
Yeah.
really predict that?
No.
Oh, I was like, "Daggum, dude." Okay, all right, you got me.
man, that's
You
I
got me.
I should have. I should have gone like a pop culture prediction.
pop culture
next
prediction.
year. Next year I'll
this
make
year.
one like that.
yeah. All right.
Mine for this year is
Let's
Prince
keep rolling.
is coming back.
All right. The second prediction that there would be huge collapses of undercapitalized and poorly run firms with bad business models. And so this one, I think it was February or March of this year, of last year, Silicon Valley Bank imploded, followed by, I think it was First something bank. There was a couple banks.
Yep.
WeWork finally bit the dust last year. I
It
think.
needed to.
Yeah. There were a couple. But the one where I was like, all right, my prediction came true was Silicon Valley Bank.
Yeah.
I think in the commercial space too,
Yeah.
there is a lot of pain that is
yeah.
not being talked about
This
publicly because it doesn't bode well for certain agendas, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
Right.
This is very opinion based, but there's deals being happening to try to recalculate the debt so that people survive right now.
Exactly. Yeah. There's a lot of that.
There's a lot of that happening that we're not hearing about.
Yeah.
So they don't go
Those
under.
people are too big to fail.
Right.
Yes.
But instead of banks, it's commercial properties.
Yes, it is. It's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of that going on. So, and then the last one, real estate will outperform most other asset classes, which I don't like as a prediction because it's very general, which
That is
maybe that's
general.
why I did it.
It's like, I'm going to do
Can't be
vague.
wrong if you just say the world keep on spinning.
So I don't know if I hit that one or not, but I will say Bitcoin up 160%, stock S&P 500 stocks up 24%, Dow Jones U.S. Real Estate Index 13.24% total return last year, gold 13%, bond total return 4.2%.
So some stuff,
Some stuff.
not ancillary stuff. Like Bitcoin was partially people just had a ton of money
Yeah.
at that time that they were trying to get the next big thing.
Yeah. Well, so I guess it outperformed some, but it wasn't a very good. I don't like
It's
that.
not
hard.
a
It's
great
hard to
first
outperform
place.
the S&P, man.
Yeah. Well,
It's hard.
and if the interesting thing, if you look at it, I think AI really hitting this year, and if you look at what generated the performance of the S&P 500 this year, it's really like the top 5 big tech firms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost all of the performance is
Yeah.
from that.
Did you hear about AI in the lawsuit from the Times?
Yeah, I did.
No.
It could get dicey.
Yeah.
What is it?
So
Fill us in.
I have not read a ton of articles. I've just seen a few posts about it, so I'm not super educated. But I know the synopsis is that basically the Times is suing ChatGPT and another AI platform. It's Google's.
Yeah.
So when they find this data, they do what's called scraping, which is basically going through all the data sets, pulling information. Well, basically the Times has what they feel like is intellectual property that can't be used or regurgitated via AI. So they are suing these companies, and it's in a local court. It'll eventually, I assume, get to Supreme Court.
Probably.
I think the thing that is interesting about it, just non-legal thought, I'm not, like I said, versed in the nuances of it, but I see AI as it's basically the automobile.
Right.
It's technology that is inevitable. It's so strong, it's so powerful, it can do so much for the future that you're not going to be able to stop it. And the Times is basically, they have a bunch of horse carriages and stables, and they're sitting here in the old day of the horse and carriage,
Right.
trying to force the automobile out of business.
Yeah.
And it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
They may win like a temporary legal battle, but the technology, the actual implementation and the possibilities of it, you're not stopping it.
No.
It's just a even if they win, I don't think they're going to win personally, but you just can't stop it. It's
I don't
not
think
gonna,
you can stop it, but I mean, what they say does make sense that it is intellectual property of theirs.
But as a creator myself, like I used to do, like they are still taking other pieces of information that were created before them and regurgitating and making something new. So you could almost say that they to themselves, if you're basing on, like, there's lots of different arguments. Don't get me wrong, but they're copying someone else.
Yeah.
And they're putting those pieces together and creating an original work. And that's what ChatGPT is doing. It's copying a bunch of other people and creating an original piece of work.
Synthesizing.
There's nothing new under the sun. We're all just piling information and creating new, unique ideas in theory, but it still has, it comes from sources.
They just have way more horsepower to do it.
They
with.
have an insane amount of horsepower, and it's scary to them because in theory, it could be running them out of business.
Yeah.
Literally. So
It is.
And we are talking about not
Todd's
real
prediction
estate.
for the year.
New York Times
Todd's
gone
prediction
out of
for
here.
And that's
2024.
very I have opinions, but they're very uneducated.
The death of
But I just
journalism.
see it simply as like it's not a legal thing. It's just it's sheerly
Yeah.
just you got to look at the possibilities that come with AI, and it's like you're not stopping it.
Yeah.
You're maybe trying to slow it down.
Yeah.
So
Well, let's get to some predictions for 2024.
yeah,
You ready?
Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift break up.
No, I'm long. No,
You're
I'm
on-
not long.
on it.
You're not long
I
on
wouldn't
that.
be.
No.
I wouldn't be.
I was about to say it, but I can't say that. I should have made that as a prediction.
Yeah.
I might.
Well, I'm making it. So
That they're gonna break up?
That they're gonna break
Todd
up.
says it. It's on the books
It's right
now.
here.
We're gonna. Check
I'm gonna
that.
get a lot of haters for that. Trust me. But here on the Cash Flow Bros, we're diving into the pop culture as well.
All right, 2024 stocks will be up, but less than 12%,
I believe that.
Okay.
which I think is just kind of like the election year. Don't upset the apple cart. I think we had a very strong year on all markets this year, and I think everything is going to just kind of drift higher peacefully. You know, there's some uncertainty, but everyone wants to just kind of be
They're tired of the wild ride.
right. I think so. Which
Everybody's
markets,
exhausted.
markets like, but they don't love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I will say 2024 existing home sales will top 5 million by year end on a trailing 12-month basis. So in December, I think it was December, November, we were dropping below 4 million home sales on like an annualized basis. We're in the 3.8 range. So I think there'll be a really big rebound in the number of home sales.
Do you
by
think?
December.
Do you think some of that's going to be new construction? That new construction will start to ramp up as
This is
maybe
existing.
pricing.
Th-
Okay.
that number is from existing.
Oh.
What's the
home
driving
sales.
factor in that? With I think 40% of people in the country not even having a mortgage.
I think my
Moving trends, migration.
thesis
or-
is pin up demand and pin up demand for making whatever move it is
That
you've
you're
been
gonna
wanting
make.
to make for the last 2
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Now you feel like you can get the interest rate you want.
Yeah.
People are okay with 5.5%, 5%.
Yeah.
Especially when you jump to 8, you're like, oh, I hope it doesn't go back to that. I better lock this up before.
Yeah.
I saw on Instagram a while ago that there's this young, naive kid being like, when are interest rates going to get down to 3% again? And I was
man.
just like, this was
kid.
right
Poor
as
kid.
stuff was starting to rise. And I was like, never.
Yeah,
Like,
if you didn't hop on that boat, buddy, you missed it.
I mean, this was a once in a lifetime
Don't hold
thing.
your breath.
I mean, that's true. You're like, maybe I shouldn't say never, but like, it was such a unique situation. I don't see it happening in the next, 5 years, but
Yeah.
maybe
you need to tell that kid if we're at 3% again.
it's
There's
going to be a
bigger
bad day.
things going on.
It's a bad day.
Yeah. You ain't worried
Yeah.
about your home. I can promise you.
I had going into 2020, I had like a seller finance loan that had a floating rate tied to the Fed funds rate.
Mm-hmm.
So when we did the loan, it was at 5.5. But the way that we wrote it in to the loan was that the interest rate would adjust every 3 years and it would be tied to the federal funds rate.
Okay.
So in I think it reset in 2021 or 2022. And I guess it was 2021, it reset. And when we did this deal, the seller said, if this rate goes to 3%, which was like, that's what it was indexed to.
Right.
And he even said it can't go below 3%. He's like, it'd be Fed funds plus 3%, and it
Okay.
can't go below 3%. He's like,
That was written in the thing. Okay.
yeah, which I thought was pretty smart because
Yeah.
negative rates at some point were
Yeah,
like,
could
happen
be.
in other
Yeah.
developed economies. So it was a possibility. And but he said, if we get to 0% interest rates and this loan's at 3%, I've got bigger problems than
Yeah.
what you're doing.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
Smart guy. Smart guy.
So yeah. All right. Prediction number 3. This is a potentially is a political one, potentially divisive, but I don't think Biden will be president by inauguration. So it technically goes into 2025, when the inauguration happens. But
Really?
I don't think he'll be president. I'm not saying I think it'll be anyone else. I just think there's a lot of factors pointing to it won't be him.
Oh, you're just saying he's not going to get elected for another term.
Or he won't be by inauguration time. I think it'll
Not
be
in the
someone
picture.
Are we
else.
talking like JFK here? Like
No,
he's
I
gonna be
don't-
driving down the road. and-
Well, I mean, I'm saying there's a
This
lot of
podcast took
different.
a
There's a
hard
lot
right.
of different.
Impeachment, like
Yeah, there's a lot of things that could happen. I think.
wow,
That's a bold one.
that is a very bold prediction.
I can understand not winning the election,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but not being in there by
That
inauguration.
would qualify.
Okay, so that.
But he would still be in there.
Okay.
No, if he loses the election, then he's not going to be the president.
He will be up until inauguration.
Up until inauguration.
Right. That's
Yeah.
what I mean.
Oh.
He won't be reinaugurated.
Okay.
Yes, okay.
That makes more
That's-
sense.
You
'Cause I was
said-
about to
Clarify.
say, wait
To
a
clarify,
second.
you said he won't at inauguration. He won't be president, which would mean that he was removed from
Oh
presidency.
no, that's
Yeah.
not what I meant.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
sorry.
that's not-
Whoever,
I was like, that is
clarify.
a very bold. And we're
Whoever
like,
our-
No, I didn't
we got to cut the podcast.
I'm literally like,
didn't say
whatever FBI agent is listening to us right now,
Yeah.
this side of the
No, I
table
meant
had nothing to
he
do
won't
with
be
this.
reinaugurated. Is what I meant.
I don't want you to
He may
pop me while
not.
I'm driving down the road.
He may lose.
Okay,
He may
yeah,
not.
yeah.
Some
Yeah.
other candidate
Okay.
may come.
I can get behind that.
Age may get him.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Impeachment may get him. Who knows? There's a lot
Crocodiles.
of stuff.
I mean, literally anything.
There's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that could happen.
You know, it's hard. And this goes into opinion, which I do a lot on this thing, and I shouldn't do. I think there's a lot of incredible men and women that could lead this country,
100%.
but our current system of politics don't let them rise to the top.
They never do rise to the top. The ones that do what would be best for all of us.
I think
Some
some really
do.
good ones do actually get into Congress.
Congress,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah, I think certain roles and stuff, but it's just very hard. You have to make a lot of deals to
Yeah.
get to
Get the money
those
to do
levels
that.
it's unfortunate.
The big
So,
companies own us, sadly.
but you just look around at the business women and men in our country, the people leading nonprofit organizations. I mean, we have incredible people in this country. There's still a lot of hope, I think,
yeah.
for the leadership of this country. But it's hard to, at the highest tiers, that it's like, that's, I'd love for someone to lead this country well in the next
If anybody
term,
thinks that the
so.
president's making big changes, though, that's not the guy
Right.
that's making changes.
Yeah.
You got to talk to those 236 people in Congress or whatever it is, and 50 people that are in the Senate.
Yeah.
Those are the people.
Yeah. Well, and I think, I'm kind of a believer that it's not as much of an effect as a lot of people would make you believe.
Yeah.
Like he ain't
Who's in that
directly
seat?
controlling the price of oil.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like some
Yeah.
people are like, my gas is $2.38 now. So
There's other
$1.50.
players. There's other economics.
A lot
involved
of
with
other,
it. Yeah.
a very complex machine and a lot of other factors.
A lot of people don't understand.
So now we kind of got off the trail.
Boom!
made some pretty far predictions and got really political. Sorry, Al. This is the cash flow bros.
Yeah.
Let's talk briefly, as we wrap this up, about kind of what we see Birmingham doing on a local basis. So, I think we are seeing some construction kick back up again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're actively seeing buyers come back in the market in the investment space.
I would agree.
I don't know if we're at the point we were before, but we are seeing activity there.
Yeah.
What are some other things that kind of we have a touch point base? You got your townhomes coming in, so I mean the build to rent model. I think that's going to continue in 2024.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's, a lot of good things that are already happening here and will continue into 2024. Definitely new developments, lots of redevelopment happening.
The hospital in Bessemer is
yeah.
going up. That's finalizing. It may actually be operational. I need to look
Yeah.
into it, but yeah. It's
Yeah.
exciting.
I think there's going to be a lot of parts of Birmingham that are going to thrive this year that kind of slowed down when rates jumped up because
Oh,
I
yeah.
think a lot of parts of Birmingham have a
It kind of stalled the momentum.
yeah, because it seemed like
Yeah.
there was a lot and everybody's flipping everything, and parts of town that haven't been good for years were turning around, and then all of a sudden you find the buyers that are paying $175,000 for a house can't afford a 8.5% rate.
Yeah.
Makes a big difference.
Yeah. But we'll know because, you and I plan on flipping, a good amount this year.
I'm shooting for 6.
I'm shooting for 6.5. So
I just changed my shooting for. I'm
There you
shooting
go.
now
for,
7.
I'm at 6.75.
Jordan and I aren't competitive at all. But, we'll be flipping. So we'll get a good feel on, that is really, as we walk through those, we'll know what is selling and why it's selling. We have several clients who go to us to help them sell their listings as well. And so, yeah, it's exciting year. Thanks for joining us on this journey. We look forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Excited.
Thank you all for tuning in. Signing off. I'm Rob.
I'm Todd.
And I'm Jordan.
And you heard the predictions here.
Yep. Travis
Take it easy.
Kelce and the president won't be here.
See you guys.